Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and I thought I would just do a video, put my point across for people that are watching, people on the channel. By all means, let me know your thoughts about FM23. Basically, we're going to talk about the improvements the game has had over the last 10 years. We're also going to look at the features as well for FM23. Let me know which of these are your favourite features. We're also going to look at tweets made by Dr. Benji and then Zealand, who really got the fire starting over the weekend. And I kind of on the agreement with both of them. In particular, Ben did a really good stream, I think, on Saturday night where we had a little conversation about what we expect the graphics to be. Now, if we quickly look at the features for FM23, for me, people have asked in the past, especially on streams and stuff, what do you want in the new game? And for me, I always say I want the previous game, the FM22, but better. I don't necessarily think there needed to be any new features. I just want the current game to be more rounded, improvement in graphics to a realistic level. We're not going to expect FIFA. The whole conversation of FIFA graphics is just ridiculous. However, I do want to see my goalkeeper make better saves. I do want to see him get injured in games. I do want to see him getting sent off in games. The fact that they can't get that working just baffles my, I suppose, untechy brain. Is that a word? Untechy? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not sure how the old graphics and the match engine works, but I find it surprising that they can't get a goalkeeper injured in a game and goalkeeper sent off. So little things like that would make the game so much better for me. Personally, I also want to see an improvement in how the defenders move, how they run, how they track runners, how they stop crosses, a few more animations. We're not after FIFA animations by all means, but I just would like to see every year when you turn on the game. I think we get that during that first night and everyone goes onto Twitter and tells the world how fantastic the match engine looks and stuff. But really, when you strip it back, there's always just a couple of animations added each year. And I think it needs to be more focused on this part now for the next 5-10 years. I think they've put everything that they've needed to into the game in terms of new features. I did say to Ben on the stream, what are SI going to do when they run out of features? And Ben replied, they won't run out of features. And then my response to that was, good features. Because I am a little bit, especially this year, of these things I don't think are good enough to be classed as headline features. And then because people have generally found the headline features, you remember we sat through that 40-minute video a couple of weeks ago and everyone was left a little bit underwhelmed about what the game was. So I think there was always that balance of hoping that something would come out. And then Miles tweeted this, which didn't help at all. The face gens, that's just shocking. If we take a quick look, the manager's seat, JDFM did this little picture a few days ago showing you the story, the history of the REGENS, and as you can see, they've gradually got worse over the years. And then the thread itself was not a great response. There's people taking the piss out of it on a regular basis. That's brilliant, by the way. GG to Lee for doing that. And then we also had the gameplay upgrades. One thing I am really excited about is PPDA and a much cleaner data hub in terms of choosing what you want to see on your data hub. So I'm looking forward to that because obviously I'm a big fan of the analytics. But then at the same time, posting things like the manager creation, showing that you can put a terrible polo shirt, an unbranded polo shirt, and a watch just isn't going to help with the general mood of people and their thoughts based on FM23. Now, if we look at the features themselves, none of it, I think, really stands out. This potentially, the smarter our opponents, where they're changing based on, what manager you're against, based on what's happening in the game. I like that. We'll have to wait and see how well that is implemented into the game and into the match engine. But that is probably the headline features. That's the one that probably excites me the most. Power your transfer plans. I'm not massive on this. We have that whole thing with ability and potential ability stars anyway. It'll be a nice little touch. It may be good for us creators in terms of showing you guys our thoughts and plans, but I still have a Football Manager notebook and I like to make notes. I like to make spreadsheets. I'm not necessarily think it was something that was needed in the game. Nice little touch, yes. Really good headline feature, no. Smarter our opponents we've talked about. Experience of big European nights. I really like this. I must admit, I do like the idea of having these sort of like the graphics and stuff. It makes the game a little bit immersive, but at the end of the day, you could probably get the Champions League skin from somewhere in the FM community. We can all get the Man City, getting Man City in the game, Juventus back in the game doesn't make any difference because of what we can do in the editor and with downloads and updates and things like that. However, it's a nice little touch. I'm hoping to take my go-ahead Eagles into Europe. So that first time when we do the Europa League Conference League draw, the Europa League draw, obviously I'll be using that as the main part of my video. But for me, that is a content creating thing. I don't necessarily doesn't necessarily improve the game, but perhaps improves it on a terms of a bit like the planner, where it improves it for us as content creators being able to produce a better quality video. Earn the respect of fans. I'm not digging it. The whole social side of it, I'm not massive on. I don't think it's needed. I was hoping for a new UI. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I just think the user interface needs a little bit of changing. It may be nice, once again, as a content creator to kind of show the viewers, but in terms of the game, when I'm just playing it offline, I don't think it's going to be something I use. Chronicle your career as well. Once again, brilliant for us content creators, not so much for you players that are just sat at home. You might flick through it every now and again. I just find these features like this one, and the power your transfer plans, I'm going to say that I don't think they've not worked hard enough, because I imagine the team at SI works extremely hard to try and give us the best game they could possibly do with the budget, the limitations that they have. However, for me, that doesn't feel like a headline feature. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Is there any of the FM23 headline features that you are really looking forward to? As I said, mine is the PPDA and the hub having a little bit of a change. So not the massive feature that we were all hoping, but something that I will definitely use and looking forward to using in FM23. And then moving on to the graphics themselves, I've always said I like the graphics as they are, but I would like to see noticeable improvements every year. And I don't think we've quite had that. Zealand started this on the 14th, which I think was Friday. He put Football Manager's graphics are terrible, and I am tired of pretending they're not. And then it started a massive, massive debate. And then Dr. Benji tweeted, the entire Football Manager graphics conversation has become ridiculous. Nobody appears interested in the middle ground here, but that's where I am. And I would like that middle ground. We're not expecting FIFA, but we do want to see noticeable improvements. And as I said in the stream to Ben, that they are running short on really big new features unless they completely revamp. Set pieces is one that they've kind of overlooked. So that needs to be one that they need to put in. It should have been done. Training, I think, could be better. I think training is not as important as what people say. We are going to do a video on that for FM23. So that could be something that could be improved on. But I think over the next 5 years, if they really want to bring a new audience, remember that not so much our generation, me, Ben, and other content creators, Kev, the older boys, we're all in our 30s. We have grown up with only commentary, moving into 2D, moving into 3D, and then we've kind of grown with it. Now, if I'm trying to attract my little boy who is 6, trying to attract him in 5 or 6 years' time, and the game hasn't moved on, or has moved on as little as what it has done in the last 5 or 6 years graphically, how are we going to get that guy, that kid who's currently playing on a PS5, playing on FIFA, how are we going to get him in the game? That's a big issue, I think, going forward. But I think at the moment, while those old boys are still buying the game and still playing it, they may not see it as a necessarily improvement that they have to make over the next few years. Now, as I said, I'm in the camp with Dr. Benji where we want that middle ground. We want to see better animations. We want to see it feel a little bit more natural. We want to see the crowd a little bit more natural, the pitch a little bit better. He actually put this video on, and I will show you it. It was a video from FM12. By the way, there's my channel. There's my channel. Make sure you subscribed. But this is the main thing that I couldn't believe. I knew there hadn't been a massive, change in the gameplay over the last 10 years, but I didn't realize, let me just full screen it. I didn't realize this is FM12. So number one, as Ben noticed and I noticed, how much brighter is that? Obviously the camera angle is a lot different, but it looks pretty good, doesn't it? I also like the pitch. It does, I think at some point gets overly muddy, but it looks a lot brighter. The animations don't look that dissimilar, do they? The crowd doesn't, from a distance, doesn't look that dissimilar. And if you think, if this was 10 years ago, you would expect the game now in 11 years ago, you would expect the game in FM23 to have kicked on graphically, despite maybe the limitations they can with budgets and stuff, to kick on more than it actually has. Here's the sideline camera. That, for me, looks... Is it me? Or does FM12 look better? I'm not digging the goal mouse. The goal mouse, especially in today's pictures, it would be nice to see that maybe at a non-league level. But, I don't know. For me, it looks slightly better. Obviously, the animations have had a big improvement. I think, not a big improvement, and have had an improvement over the last 10 years. Director cam as well. It just looks cleaner. It looks brighter. The pitches look better. The stadiums themselves look a little bit better as well. There's so many stadiums with like gaps in the corner flags. We don't necessarily get that in a lot of stadiums. Thank God we lost the sort of like the big inflatable ball, park benches and stuff like that. But for me, I don't know. Now looking at it on big screen as well, I'm kind of realising that FM12 looked better graphically. I know necessarily that's not the case and the animations have changed. The ball moves in different directions. We've probably had a greater detail in terms of how the rule works. And also then the introduction of sort of like the inverted wing backs and all the new rules, which has no doubt affected the match engine. I am left a little bit underwhelmed by everything. I think that's a word that I've used over the last few years, underwhelmed. I really got excited about the data hub, and then I thought that looked really messy in terms of how easy it was to get data. You know, a lot of us FM players love the data, and it'd be easier if there was a better place. I think they've kind of fixed that for FM23 by the looks of it, so I'm looking forward to that, as I said. But I know, I just feel everything has been a little bit underwhelming. Am I looking forward to the game? You bet yeah. And I think that's because I'm making content. I want to manage Galatasaray. I want to manage Go Ahead Eagles. I'm looking forward to streaming it. I would have been happy carrying on FM22. I'm excited to play the new saves. Not much the new game. I'm excited to play the new saves. And I think that's the same for a lot of us. A lot of us are looking forward to our saves rather than the game itself. All right, put your thoughts down in the comments. You may not agree with me altogether. You may think the game, you know, would you pay... People have put, would you pay £60 for a lot better game? Yes, I would, because the amount of hours that we get out of the game, you know, FIFA was 65 quid. All of the new games are generally 60, 65 quid. Would you be happy paying nearly twice as much, sort of like 75% more, if the game saw radical changes? And the answer would be yes, I would. But that's my personal choice. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let's hope FM23 is as good as FM12. All right, guys, take care. See you later.